Hi, Mark.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes?
Excelente.
Atrasada. Perdón. I am sorry I am late. We had some minor family drama on the mother-in-law Zoom. I mean, minor, like, I won't even tell you what it is because it's minor. But as a lot of you guys know me, I'm an unfussy person. I'm a very non-fussy, go with the flow. And we have a certain nephew who is engaged. And there were certain kerfuffles over an engagement party that I'm like. But I had to listen patiently and nod and say, yes, that should have been done differently. Oh my God.
A groomzilla? A groomzilla? Not a bridezilla, but a groomzilla?
That's interesting. I'm not sure. I think it was kind of a little bit on both sides. Yes. But I learned a lot about this new person that's coming into the family, boy, I'll tell you that. Okay. All right. Bueno, vamos a empezar. Let's start. Okay. Vamos a practicar con pretérito. Yeah, we should do some past tense practice. We should get started with that. And we've got, gracias, Trish. Great. And Mariana, we've got everybody on. Nora, you had a good question. I want to start off with any questions. You had a good question about was going to, right? The ir a. Yeah. So
my husband loves Superman, by the way. So it's fun to talk with him about that assignment.
Okay. Yeah. So let me pop this back on. And I'm going to explain a little more detail. And it's not actually that much detail. It's actually going to be easy to explain. I got to find the right segment there. Ooh. Oh, sí, aquí está. Here it is. I'm going to try and make this just a little bit bigger still. Okay. So Nora's question, which was actually a very, very good question. Okay.
The part about Lex Luthor.
This question,
Yeah.
de repente, él oyó, he heard, sí, algo terrible, una crisis en el aeropuerto. Su enemigo Lex Luthor iba a usar un avión con una bomba llena de anthrax y cólera para matar a millones de personas. His enemy, Lex Luthor, was going to use a plane with a bomb full of anthrax and cholera to kill millions of people. Well, anytime, so the question has to do with this. Lex Luthor iba a usar. And the explanation they give you at the top is expresa una acción anticipada, expresses an anticipated action. That is a very excellent, accurate, highfalutin explanation for something that is actually easier to show you this way. And it was never explained to me as a student as anticipated action. But here's the easy thing to remember. If you've got something, because you won't forget this. Iba and any of its forms, iba, ibas, íbamos, iban, any of those, right? So in other words, the imperfecto for ir, okay? The imperfecto for ir plus a plus an infinitivo, okay? When you have presente, when you have this, voy a caminar, voy a usar, vamos a usar, right? It indicates future, future activity, right? So by using ir in present plus a plus infinitive, you say about something that is going to happen. Iba, or any of its forms, plus an a plus an infinitive becomes was going to ... whatever that is. That's all it means. When what you mean is, when the idea in your head is somebody was going to do this, that's when you use iba a and an infinitive. So that's what they call anticipated action. But who thinks about that way? I don't think about it that way. Okay, it is what it is. But, por ejemplo, if you want to say, oh, we were going to leave early. Yeah, you're talking about what happened at a party. Well, we were going to leave early. Okay, then it's íbamos a salir temprano. Boom, that's it. If it was, were you going to go to the store? ¿Ibas a ir al supermercado? Were you going to go to the store? If what you mean is, oh, I was going to wash the dishes and then I forgot. Iba a lavar los platos, pero se me olvidó. I was going to wash the dishes, but I just forgot. That's all it is. So to say to say anybody was going to do something, we take ir, we put it in imperfecto. So in other words, you're never going to hear fuimos a. You know, it will never ever be fuimos a salir. We were going to leave. Fuimos a salir pronto. It will never be fuiste a ir al supermercado. It's always imperfecto to say somebody was going to do something.
Carolyn, is it pero se olvidó or olvidé?
It is se me olvidó.
Oh,
Okay, why?
it forgot on me.
Because it forgot itself on me.
Oh, it forgot.
Because nobody admits that they actually forgot.
Okay.
Hardly anybody admits that. Everybody always the most common way to hear I forgot is the odd se expression like that. Se me olvidó, se me olvidó. It went and forgot itself on me. It is a way of saying I didn't mean to do it.
I remember that now. See?
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I could say olvidé, I forgot, but then I am taking responsibility for that. My bad. I am saying my bad.
Mhm.
And se me olvidó means, oh, I just forgot, and gee, I didn't really mean to, and not really my thought that happened. It just, boom, it just snuck up on me and happened. Yeah. Eso es. Okay, does that help with your question, Nora?
It does.
Yeah, it's a little, and actually I was glad that you asked that question because it's a little trick essentially that isn't often taught, but that's what it means. Somebody was going to do something. So in other words, it's a good thing to know. You're never going to use fui, fuiste, fue. You're never going to use preterit to say somebody was going to do it. Nobody does that.
Okay.
And I can't tell you why, but well, yeah, okay. Theoretically, it's because if something was going to happen, it wasn't really an event yet. there's none of that definite beginning and end business to it. But that's why you got that little sentence. Bueno. Hay otra pregunta. Is there any other question on any of these things that you did for homework? Because when you clicked on it, you saw what was right and what was technically not. Hay otra pregunta o no?
I think I was watching that kangaroo video too late, and it was just, the verbs didn't seem like they made so much sense to me. I think I just need to kind of go with the flow and not try to analyze why she's choosing one tense over another. Just understand it.
Okay. Also, actually, a good point. When you have a video like that, and I'm just going to show.
At first, I tried to pause it and analyze each one of them, and I thought, just go ahead.
No, okay. Actually, yes. Also, a good question. So this is the video she's talking about. ¿De dónde viene la palabra canguro? Yeah, where does that kangaroo? All right. Now, so that's the video she's talking about, just to refresh your memory if you don't recall. Okay. When you watch a video with a story, I have actually a recommendation, and this is something we used to do when we gave listening comprehension tests to people. And actually, I think even for my state test, did they do a double? They might not. Okay, here's what you should do. You should listen. First time, you should listen through and don't stop it at all. Listen for the big picture. I think this is good. Listen for the big picture. Just pick up like the main points of what's going on. Don't even think about tense yet. Let it wash over you. And I would say the second time, go back, listen again. And now maybe make two little columns. No, maybe make 3 little columns. Presente, present, preterito, imperfecto. And kind of just hash mark how many times you're hearing that. And then I would say go back a 3rd time and then do a pause.
Okay.
And listen. So, and the nice thing about these, which all videos don't have, that particular channel, they do a very meticulous job of doing the Spanish in big subtitles and teeny tiny translation and smaller type for the translation below it in English. And what you will always see is how we would say that in English. So that iba a usar would have been translated as he was going to use. I mean, if that is the question they've had. But the problem, well, not a problem, the challenge, because it is a challenge, but the very natural thing is that in that particular video, she shifted a lot between present and past. A lot of the start was in present, and then she shifted gears into past tense. But that's the way we talk.
Right.
That's the way we talk. So when you get a story video, you have to listen to it at least twice and probably, very likely, 3 times.
Okay.
You might want to do the general idea first, do a breakdown pause in the middle, and then do a general and like see how that flows at the end, you know, kind of, but you need more than one listen as a general rule.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to know, because it's not always obvious. And right now that's new enough for you guys that, you know, it's one thing to study it and seeing it in writing, but when you're hearing it off the cuff, just listening to it, now your brain really has to work kind of hard at it. I think it's well, I think
Understanding is really the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, understanding is really the goal. Yeah.
And I forget that sometimes. I get caught in the weeds.
Yeah. Understanding, getting the big picture is the goal. And it's kind of nice to be able to, I mean, right now you are kind of analyzing because you're asking, why do we have these two tenses? And that's a natural thing. We haven't got that. We haven't got a really good equivalent in English to compare it to. So it becomes particularly challenging.
I figure I'm, just guessing here. I'm a year or two away from it all just clicking. But right now, I get extreme satisfaction when a sentence or two, like in one of these videos, clicks.
Yeah. And I'm too far out from the experience to, I have to think back, wow, what, I think for most students who are high school students doing this, third year is when it clicks. For some reason, the third year Spanish class was always the year when things would click and kids would start to say, oh, I understand now why we're flipping into different, and it would start to fall, little tiles that fell into place on the game board. It would be like that. But it would be kind of an aha moment a lot of times, and it wouldn't maybe always 100% consistently fall into place, but that's kind of when it starts. It just takes a tremendous amount of repetition. It just does. That's what it takes. Okay.
I have a question about the homework, which is, I'll apologize, it's going to divert us just for a second here.
Never
But
apologize.
it was something I was working on with one of those pictures that we were, writing our thoughts or writing some active actions. Can you tell us the difference between the verb usar and utilizar?
Oh, okay. Not a lot of difference.
Is it kind of just like in English, there's sort of synonyms?
There's synonyms, yeah, there's synonyms. But just like utilize is a higher level kind of word in English, also utilizar is a higher level word. So you will tend to see it more in writing, so, like somewhat more formal speech. Not to say that you'll never hear people using utilizar, but yeah, there's synonyms. And it doesn't really much matter, but usar is a simple word, a short word, a very conversational word. And utilizar is a little more formal. There's your difference, not a whole lot.
Okay, so not a big deal.
Not a big deal, not a huge deal, no. Also, I would say, maybe if I were working in a work, if I were speaking with people in a workplace setting, and we were talking about things we were using at work, or specific devices we were using, or software, that's maybe more where I would plug in a word like utilizar, because it's kind of fitting for that workplace setting. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's kind of what I would do. Okay. And those kind of questions are always good. There are no bad questions. Okay. A ver, let's take a look at one more story, if you would like to, before I cut you loose. Before you cut loose, I like to make sure that you get a lot of warm-up practice. So let's look at a different website, actually same website, but different story. But it's still going to be a 50-50 choice. So that's why we're doing this as a warm-up. Es más de Superman. Sí, more on superhombre. Okay. And again, they're going to show us the difference up here, or the response, depending on what you, oh, superhombre in Chile. Wow. So let's look at this one. See, Clark Kent was on vacation in Santiago, Chile. Wow.
Estuvo.
Estuvo? Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry. We have all this little funky stuff because I enlarged this. Is this big enough, too big, or just right?
it's good.
Just right. Okay. Yeah, and because I enlarged it, we're going to get some misprints in this top part. What they want to say is imperfecto because it's a description. When you say somebody is on vacation, so think about this. Clark Kent was on vacation. I'm not really limiting. I'm not talking. Okay, the idea I'm getting across is not he went on vacation for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or he started his vacation yesterday. The idea behind this is he was just on vacation. So this is background information, right? Imperfecto is always description, but description often means background information. What was going on in the background, just like setting the scene if this were a movie. All right. So
Okay.
here what we really need is estaba. Estaba de vacaciones, he was on vacation. Because the idea I'm stressing is just that, well, this is what was going on. And now I'm going to fill in the details about what happened while he was on vacation. Okay. Estaba de vacaciones en Santiago, Chile. Una tarde, one afternoon. Oh, him called. Well, wait a minute. Oh, I got to look at who called him. Lo is talking about Clark, who received the call. Lois called him. Lois Lane from the Daily Planet. And notice, oddly enough, we don't start off with the subject. We don't start off with who's doing the action. One afternoon, him, she called. Yeah, him, she called. Lois Lane called him from the Daily Planet to tell him that a few minutes ago, some animals. Okay, so let's just look at that. Lois called him. Which one is it going to be? Llamó or llamada?
Llamó.
Llamó. Okay. Es un evento. This is a, ooh, I think I'm going to need to bump this down just a little bit. Ooh, will that work? Oh, no. Okay, we'll make it bigger and I'll just fill it in as we go along. Here we go. Una tarde lo llamó, one afternoon, and that kind of helps you because, oh, we're pegging it to a time, right? One afternoon, una tarde, we can peg that, llamó. It's an event. Lo llamó. Lois called him from the Daily Planet to tell him that a few minutes ago, all the animals from the zoo in Santiago escaped mysteriously from their cages. Do we want escaparon or escapaban?
Escaparon. Escaparon.
Escaparon. Escaparon. They escaped. She called to say, hey, this happened. Yeah. Not, hey, we're in the middle of this happening, but hey, this happened. Escaparon. Se escaparon misteriosamente. ¿Sí? So, entonces, sí. Todos los animales del jardín zoológico en Santiago se escaparon misteriosamente en sus jaulas. Jaulas, cages, ¿sí? De sus jaulas. ¿Sí?
And you need that S, the say, because it's just that type of verb. They escape themselves, kind of.
Se escaparon, yeah. Escaparse is a reflexive verb. It just is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
go with it. Okay.
Yeah, just go with it. Yeah, it's used as a reflexive. Yeah, and it just is. Yeah, they escaped themselves, which I guess makes sense because you got to put some effort into doing that. Who receives that action of getting the heck out of there? You do. You do it, and you receive the benefit of getting the heck out of Dodge. So that kind of makes sense. Okay, escaparse. En ese mismo momento, at that same moment, Clark heard some strange sounds outside.
Oil.
Oh, yo.
Oyó, right. Same time he heard some strange noises. Okay. Clark went out to the street to investigate.
Salió.
Leo.
Salió. He went out on the street. And I want you to notice something. This is es muy sutil. This is a really subtle thing. Not only is that salió importante, sí es importante, but the a la calle es importante. This is also important. With salir, there are different prepositions one may use. Salir de, the de signals the place I'm leaving from. Salir a emphasizes the place I'm leaving for, to get to. Oh, and you can express that leaving for a place, meaning that we're telling, if you want to emphasize where you're going to wind up, it can be expressed as salió a la calle, or it can be expressed as salió para la calle. It can be said either way. They're both correct. Okay, salió a la calle para investigar. He left to go out on the street and investigate. ¡Qué sorpresa! What a surprise. First, Clark saw zebras, zebras, and notice they cannot spell it with a Z-E because you can't do Z-E in Spanish. Okay, first Clark saw zebras. Vio or veía?
Veía.
Veía. No.
No, vio.
Okay, because
Vio.
look. Oh, now
Saw
look
them.
what they're setting us up with. Primero, that one little word is a great big red flag.
Okay.
Now, and why? Because once I start saying, oh, first this, then that, I am setting myself up for, yeah, talking about things happening at different points on the timeline. I'm setting myself up for that with that word primero. Primero vio unas cebras. First she saw some zebras. Después llamas, afterwards. Llamas, yeah. Y por fin unos guanacos. Guanacos. ¿Qué son guanacos? Momentito, no recuerdo. ¿Qué son guanacos? Vamos a ver.
Related to llamas.
Sí. Un mamífero ruminante. Wow. Guanaco. I think it's just guanaco.
That's what mine says too.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, pues es chile. Yeah. It's a ruminant. It's something that chews, a cud. Okay.
They're related to llamas.
Yeah. Probably related to the llamas. Yeah.
Yes.
Y unos guanacos en la parada de los autobuses. Oh, at the bus stop. At the bus stop. Y más tarde, and later, he found white tigers and a gorilla in the garden. Which one do we want? ¿Encontró or
Encontró.
encontraba? Encontró. So look, we've got a series. He saw this, he found that. Yeah. When we are moving the action forward, these are signals that we're moving the action forward to the next event, the next event, the next event. Preterito does the job in storytelling. Preterito has a job of moving the action to the next action, the next event. Okay, that's the job of preterito. Okay. And now we're looking at this next one here. Also, there were lots of animals all over or
Mhm.
everywhere. Everywhere
yeah.
is por todas partes. That just
I
means
think
all over the
había.
place.
Había.
Había. And why do you think había? ¿Por qué?
It's a description.
It's just
Description.
description. When I have, and yes, just description, there were animals. Are animals an event or a
Mhm.
thing?
A thing.
They're a thing.
Thing.
It's got to be había. It's got to be había. I'm just saying those things were out there. They existed. We use hubo. Hubo is a very specific verb we use to talk about saying an event happened. So here are situations where I could use hubo. Hubo una boda, there was a wedding, because a wedding is an event that took place. Hubo una reunión, there was a meeting, because a meeting is an event. It's something that happens. Hubo un incendio, there was a fire, because a fire is an event that happens, right? Those are not descriptions, but just to say there were animals, there were cars. Wow, even to say there were people. People are not an event. We're just saying they existed out there. It's still description, it's still background information. También había muchos otros animales por todas partes. Okay, so now we've got to pay attention very, very carefully to this whole thing. And we've got two verbs. So we're going to break them apart, but we're going to look at the big picture first. While some camels were drinking water from a fountain, some swans, is that going to be swam or were swimming in the hotel pool? So these animals are not in places in the zoo because se escaparon, they escaped, right? Okay, but we've got this word mientras, and we know that mientras means while.
Bebían for the first
It-
one.
It should be bebían.
Bebían for this first
Bebían.
one, right? Because mientras, it's always going to be a signal for imperfecto. And are the swans like interrupting the drinking, or is that going on the same time as the
Same
drink?
time.
Same time.
Same time. Yeah. Nadaban. Yeah. Bien. Okay. En progreso. So it nadaban, if you clicked on it, you could see the whole thing. You could see they were signaling. So when we've got mientras, right? We have two things that are going on all at the same time, and all of this is description, right? One is not interrupting the other. They're both happening simultaneously. Okay, so when we indicate simultaneous action, we use imperfecto, often for the two, okay? And that mientras tells me they're going on at the same time. Oh, wow, you're getting pretty fancy here. When some llamas ate, vorazmente is voraciously, yeah. When they're eating their fresh veggies, un vendedor en el mercado, a seller at the market, was scared or got scared? Let's ponder that. What do you think we should have with the llamas?
Comían.
Comían? Oh, no. Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Even though
Cuando
Cuando is-
usually introduce in cuando generally is paired up with a preterito. Mientras will pair up with imperfecto. Cuando usually signals preterito.
Okay.
So let's look at this tener miedo. Tener miedo. Do you think it's going to be tú or tenía?
Tania.
No,
Tenía.
Tania
Let's see what we
what?
got. No. Okay.
No, it's
This is a hard one. This is a very,
oh,
now you'll notice this one is harder than the last. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But this starts to get into something I want to bring up today, which is how we talk about emotions using the past. So after we're done with this little segment, we're going to do a little quickie, maybe 15-minute thing on emotions. So here they switched to preterito. Cuando is paired up with preterito. It just does. So there's a difference between tuvo miedo and tenía miedo. And the difference is if what you mean is he got scared, like he was, oh, this sight of these animals going through the whole cart that he had, it provoked a feeling in him. Tuvo miedo means he got scared. It created this feeling in him all of a sudden. Whereas tenía miedo would mean he was very scared. Just he was scared, but not he got scared. So here's what I want to do. We're going to take this as our little jumping off point to talk about emotions in the past. I'm going to leave this bottom. Oh, and there are two. Hay dos. Hay tres. Ay, Dios mío. Some of these are probably going to start to get kind of difficult. I'll warn you about that. But I'm going to leave the end parts for you to actually do as kind of a homework thing. Because you only have a 50-50 shot and you get immediate feedback. Now, these are nice exercises because you only have a 50-50 shot. You don't have to ruminate through your whole brain about which conjugation am I going to use. It's already there. It's either this or this, right? And then you get immediate feedback. So that's why I like that. But let's talk about emotions in the past, because I did promise last week we were going to discuss that. And this is a topic that is, how shall I say, a little bit difficult right now. So what I'm going to preface this with is when you're talking about how people feel, just kind of at this point, hear it, get kind of familiar with it, have it sort of tucked away in the gray matter, but don't have it tucked away in the gray matter so that you recognize it when you hear it or read it. When you hear it or read it, will you be able to consistently, correctly use this when you speak? Not right away, probably. With one exception, with one exception. At least one exception, you should be able by the end of this class to get it right. But the other ones, it will take some time. So let's talk about feelings in the past. It is a kind of a thorny thing, and it is a thorny thing for this reason. If you read in a textbook, they will tell you that imperfecto is for descriptions, right? In the past, it is for expressing the idea of was doing something, right? Our English equivalent. In English, we say somebody was doing something, or if it's plural, of course, we might say were doing something, okay? And it is used for habitual habits. Let's just say habits or repeated actions. Okay, something happened a lot. We don't know how much, just often. And often in English, we'll plug in that phrase used to. Okay, I used to take a walk with my grandma every day. I used to take my kids trick-or-treating every year. Even possibly, I used to go to Safeway, but you know, I don't go there so much anymore. But I used to go to Safeway a lot. Now, not so much. Used to is imperfecto. Was doing something, were doing something. That's imperfecto. Descriptions in the past. A lot of times a textbook is also going to tell you that imperfecto is what is used to talk about feelings or mental processes. Whoa. And I could spit back that rule when I was 16 years old, but I didn't know diddle squat of what that really meant. I did not understand it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now that this thing right here is, wow, I would say this part of imperfecto is a very difficult, touchy-feely kind of thing. Ooh, whoops, pardon. It is a touchy-feely and difficult thing to wrap your mind around. Okay, here's why it's touchy-feely. Let's take gustar, because that's the easy one. And this is the one that I want you to walk away with today and always get it right. Because you will be able to, just with this one verb at least. Because gustar is easier to illustrate in this realm of feelings. When we talk about the past, talking about your feelings or mental processes is often imperfecto. I mean, that's kind of true, but it kind of depends. The corollary to that rule, which really busted my brain as a 16-year-old, was, well, wait a minute. If the feeling is a reaction to something, then oops, preterito. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh,
What the heck am I supposed to make that? What am I supposed to do with that? And of course, my teacher would say, well, that's just the way it is. Oh, thank you so much. That's so damn helpful. Okay. But actually, it is true. It is true. So think about it. And it's true when you think about gustar. And we're also going to look at that tener miedo, okay, thing. And gustar you're going to get. So, all right. When I'm talking about general feelings, so let's look at the green underlined part. When we talk about general feelings or mental processes, usually it will be imperfecto. So I want to say, oh, okay. Cuando era niña, me gustaban los perros. Cuando era niña, me gustaban los perros. When I was a kid, I liked dogs. I might say something like, nos gustaba jugar a escondites. We liked playing hide and seek. Hide and seek. It's not hide and seek, it's hide and seek. Okay. We liked playing hide and seek. I might even say, a mi esposo y yo, perdón, a mi esposo y a mí, incorrecto. A mi esposo y a mí nos gustaba senderismo, o nos gustaba escalar montañas. We like mountain climbing. Oh, we did. Wow, I don't do that anymore. Too much potential for bone breaking. Okay. A mi esposo y a mí nos gustaba el senderismo, hiking, escalar montañas, that's an activity, right? I could insert either thing. So these all talk about feelings in the past, and they are feelings. Yeah, let's leave out the mental processes for now, but they're feelings. But there is a big divide, or even, a mis hijos les gustaba, les gustaba explorar los bosques. My kids liked exploring woods. Yeah. Liked exploring the woods. Okay. And those just talk about feelings, but there's kind of a big divide between gustaba, or gustaban, if it's plural, right? Because we can only use gustaba or gustaban. And there's a big difference between that and saying something like this. El nuevo episodio de Casa del Dragón somebody talks to you and they talk about the finale, the new episode of House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel. Okay. El nuevo episodio de Casa del Dragón. Me gustó mucho. Me
Oh,
gustó mucho. There's a big divide, a big difference between these two uses of gustar. And the driving thing is, this me gustó mucho is a reaction to something that you just saw, or you just did, or you just ate, or you just tried on. Yeah. Let's say you're shopping for boots. You're shopping for boots, okay? You're doing a doing a big outdoor adventure. You need new boots. And you say, sí, me probé dos pares de botas. I tried on 2 pairs of boots. Dos pares, 2 pairs. Okay. And after I got done doing that, I might say to somebody, me gustaron las botas las botas de una marca. I need a brand. Wow.
Ugg. Uggs. UGG.
Uggs.
Yeah.
Me gustaron las and I probably won't even say botas again. I'll skip that. Me gustaron las de Uggs. I like the Uggs. Okay. And what is the I like the Uggs? You need to know the setup, the context. The context is, hey, I just put these 2 different brands of boots on my feet to see what I liked better, right? And my reaction is, me gustaron las de Uggs. I like the Uggs ones. So there's a big difference between, oh, I liked these, right? And I liked dogs. I liked playing this. My husband and I liked doing this stuff. My kids liked this, right? There, I'm just talking about preferences in the past, general preferences. And it's not a one-time, it's not a one and done. But how I felt after I did the one and done, tried on the boots, that's a reaction. So preterito, right? I watched this thing on TV and my reaction was, wow, I really liked that. Okay. I can even embellish a little bit. Uy. Trato de mover esto. Okay. I can even embellish on this. You know, you're binge watching something. I got TV critics in my family. I don't know about you guys. Okay. No me gustó mucho el primer episodio de Casa del Dragón, pero me gustó mucho el último episodio. They're both reactions to specific things. But I'm not talking about a long-held feeling in the past. ¿Entienden? Understand? See?
Because if you said, I didn't like the first one, but I like adventure movies, then you would say, me gustaba.
Ah, sí, sí. Qué buena idea. Ok, por ejemplo, me gustaba, me gustaba mucho la ciencia ficción. I liked science fiction, just what I always liked, in a very general sense. ¿Sí? Me gustaba mucho la ciencia ficción, pero
I guess you wouldn't really say that
sí,
though.
no me
Yeah.
well, you might, pero no me gustó, no me gustó la serie, the series, la serie de Mandalorian. Like science fiction, but I didn't like that thing quite so much. I liked science fiction, but I didn't really like that. So, yeah, you know, when people are giving you this in preterito, they're telling you they had a reaction to something they did, something they ate, something they saw. We can use the same thing talking about food. Siempre, por ejemplo, siempre siempre nos gustaban siempre nos gustaban las frutas, pero no nos gustaron estas manzanas. ¿Sí? Estaban podridas. We always liked fruits, just all of them, pero no nos gustaron estas manzanas, but we didn't like these apples. Wow, they were rotten.
In that example you just did, if you were to, like you started with, we always like fruit, okay? Well, what if you wanted to just draw an exception, but we don't like apples? Would that
Okay,
be general enough as opposed
like
to a reaction?
like is
No, it's an
Well,
exception to that general statement.
yeah.
It's not
Es
that what
posible.
I'm trying to distinguish between is, but it's not like we didn't like these bananas, but or these apples, but we just don't like apples.
Ya, no nos gustaban las manzanas, no nos gustaban las manzanas, no nos gustaron. Yeah, does it indicate like an exception to the group? Is that what you're asking?
Well, what I'm trying to distinguish,
And it's got to be
maybe
liked.
maybe I'm overreading this, but you know, it's not like these apples I didn't like. It's just I don't like apples, but I like fruit in general. Siempre nos or we like siempre nos gustaban las frutas. Okay, in general,
But
we
you
like
want to say
fruit.
this category I didn't like.
Right, but we don't
Okay.
like apples.
Yeah. No, you'll probably keep all of that in imperfecto. Okay,
That's what I
See.
was thinking. Yeah.
So this one is telling me that I've sampled this and they're in this state. So it's a nos gustaron. It's a reaction because they were in this state. It's a reaction I had. So gustar can go either way, but it really depends. If what you mean is in general, as a general rule, keep it as gustaba, gustaban, imperfecto. Keep it there, right? The
Right.
gustó or gustaron actually are kind of common because quite often people tell you their reaction. They had a certain kind of food and they say, I didn't like that. But they're not talking about their general overall likes or dislikes in the past. They're just their reaction to this one plate of food. Okay.
Right.
Comí el bistec en el nuevo restaurante, pero no me gustó mucho. I ate the steak at the restaurant, but I didn't really like it. And it's not talking about my general feelings about I liked steak in the past. It's just talking about my reaction to that one dish, that one time. So gustar in preterito is always going to be a reaction to something that you ate, something you saw, something you did, something you heard. Okay. It's going to be a reaction to something that happened this many times. Not talking about I liked something in the past in general. Does that make a little more sense? See?
That makes perfect sense in terms of
Okay.
a generalization versus a reaction, like a one-time reaction.
Exacto. See, yeah, a one-time reaction to something that happened. And this is my reaction to what happened. Oh, okay. This is my reaction to something I saw, heard, ate, experienced. Okay, something like that. Let's take, instead of this, let us take a different verb, the one that was in our, example, tener miedo, because that's a feeling. Es un sentimiento, es una emoción, tener miedo. Tener miedo, to have fear, but we would say it as to be afraid of or to be scared of something, right? If all you're talking about is putting this into the plain old past and saying I was afraid, and it's just flat out description, then it needs to be in that imperfecto mode. Tenía miedo. Tenía miedo a las arañas. She or he was afraid of spiders. okay, in a very general sense, okay? Even, you know, anything when you mean it as a description, tenía miedo. So this was a little bit harder than gustar, but it's still not too far off the mark. If the idea you want to convey, or if the idea you're listening to somebody, you know, they're telling you a story, if they put tener into preterito, it conveys a very specific one-off kind of idea. Preterito with tener miedo literally has to mean got scared. It means that something I can spell, something provoked that feeling. So that general rule of a reaction to an event goes into preterito. This is what kicks in. Okay. Por ejemplo, hubo un accidente terrible en la 101, on the 101 freeway, en la 101. Hubo un accidente terrible en la carretera, en la autopista. Let's make it autopista, highway. Hubo un accidente terrible en la autopista y tuve miedo de que alguien se dañara. Somebody was injured. Okay, and don't worry about this thing. That's like a funky subjunctive thing. But tuve miedo. I got scared. I got scared of somebody being injured. Or tuve miedo. O por ejemplo, sí. Okay, the tuve miedo is a reaction to this thing here. I got scared, but tuve miedo is very specifically going to mean I got scared. I had a reaction to an event that happened. See? Whereas tenía miedo is meant as a description. ¿Entienden? But always past, not right now. Past. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out as some ideas of emotions in, you know, kind of the textbook explanation doesn't always cut it for us. Okay. I want to be able to let you do some practice with our pictures next. Está bien? Good?
See.
Okay. We do the free practice last because that is the hardest thing to do. For you to actually talk and use this is harder. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Y voy a engrandecer. Wow, I've got to make this bigger para que puedan ver, so you guys can see them more easily. And this is pretty free for all, right? You can actually use whatever you like to talk about it, but I want to send you, should we do it all together, or do you want to do it in smaller groups? ¿Qué quieren hacer? What do you want to do?
We could do it together.
Juntos? Okay, a ver, because you did have these as a prep. Okay, a ver, vamos a ver. If we're looking at this guy with his burnt stuff and his daughter, what are some things that you might say about that picture?
Padre ha quemado la cena.
El padre ha quemado. Ha quemado. He has burned
Yes.
la cena.
Oh.
Sí. Wow. You know what? This is pretty recent because it's coming out of that oven smoking, isn't it? So, yeah, using that present perfect would work very, very nicely with this one because this is super recent. But I could also potentially just put this into preterito. What would quemar sound like if I just put it into preterito?
Quemó.
Oh,
El padre
Quemó.
quemó la cena. El padre quemó la cena. ¿Ok? Bien.
I tried papá cocinaba la cena demasiado larga todos los sábados.
Ah, todos los sábados, es importante. ¿Sí? Cocinaba la cena.
I
Sí.
tried demasiada larga. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that,
Sí, demasiado, sí, just demasiado.
Okay.
Todos los sábados. Every
Sí.
Saturday. Yeah, he always burnt it. Yeah. Well, if he did this over and over again, because you got todos los sábados, that works. Sí.
about no me gusto.
No me
No me
gustó. No me gustó la cena de papá. I didn't like dad's dinner. No me gustó la cena de papá. And it's a reaction. Yeah. It's a reaction because you saw that come out. It's like, no, not eating that. Okay. Reacción.
Here's a different interpretation of that picture. El horno funcionó mal.
Oh, very good.
El horno funcionó mal. No funcionó. The oven didn't really work. Sí. Sí. Pero pretérito. That is probably better as preterit, right? Because it malfunctioned, right? Bien. Okay. Otra idea.
La niña miró a su papá preparar una comida muy especial.
Oh,
La niña miró, ¿sí? Miró a su papá cocinando. This works a little bit smoother. La niña miró a su papá cocinando la cena especial. The girl watched her dad cooking a special meal, whether it's a fail or a win is a thing. Es otra cosa, ¿no? Okay. She watched, and that's just a simple fact. That's why pretérito is often called the pretérito simple. It's often called the simple past tense because it just tells you the facts. This happened, this happened, this happened. It doesn't talk about feelings or what it looked like or any of that kind of thing. Okay. Otras ideas. Any other ideas with this?
La niña se preocupado que no tenían cena.
La niña se preocupaba. Preocupada. I don't have my preocupada. Que that she wouldn't have dinner.
Yes. No tenían cena.
Que no iba a tener buena cena. She worried that she wasn't going to have a good dinner. Yeah. Que no iba a tener. Bueno, okay.
La niña le dijo a su padre, no te molesta.
Okay. La niña le dijo a su
A su
papá,
padre, no te molesta.
no te don't be bothered.
¿Sí?
No te, usually that's going to be expressed as this. No te preocupes.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
worry.
tenemos muchas verduras.
Ah, tenemos muchas verduras. Don't worry, Dad, we got lots of veggies. Sí.
I got
Right.
one.
Now
got-
this, look at how this flips. Here's a scenario that's much like your canguro story. We're flipping from, past. This is what they call reported speech. She said, Dad, don't worry. That's a command. We have lots of veggies, flipping it into present. And we do this all the time in English, but we don't spend a second thinking about it. Yeah. And now it's a challenge because you got to do different tenses in Spanish with it. So yeah, eso es. Okay. Qué buena idea. Okay. Vamos a hablar de esta foto. Let's move on so that we make sure we've got some time to talk about, sí, las mujeres que están limpiando, the ladies who are cleaning here. ¿Qué podemos decir? What can we say about these ladies?
If it's just one time, los limpiadores limpian? Wait, limpiaron. Mi casa.
Los trabajadores limpiaron la casa. See, just the facts, right? The workers cleaned the house. Limpiaron la casa. Bien. Sí. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the right noun here. Las sirvientas limpiaban mi casa cada 2 miércoles.
Oh, limpiaban la casa.
I'm trying to say every 2 weeks. Cada 2, every 2 Wednesdays.
Sí.
Cada 2 miércoles.
Cada 2 miércoles. Wow, I even need to kind of look up how we say that. Cada 2 miércoles. There is a way. Ooh, and it is leaving my brain at the moment. Perdón. But I'm gonna follow up on that because I know, and I have seen that recently. Ay, se me olvidó. Wow, I just like left my brain. But sí, but you're talking about repetición, right? So it might be limpiaban, right? Dos veces al mes, 2 times a month, because that's every other week. Yeah. Okay. Bien. Bueno. Okay. Ooh, let's set one up. I want to pose one idea to you. I want to say, while she's washing the table, the other lady is cleaning the floor. Ooh, let's do a mientras, because this mientras is a very special construction. Mientras esta, meaning this lady, lavaba la mesa, esa, that one there,
Limpió.
limpiaba, because they were both at the same time.
At the same time. That's the same as that. The same as that Superman sentence.
Exacto. El suelo, or you might say el piso. Bien, sí. Same time, because same time. Exacto. ¿Sí? ¿Entienden?
Sí.
¿Entienden? Okay. Vale. Let's move on to something totally different. Totalmente distinto. A ver. Okay. Vamos a hablar de trick or treat. Bien. Uy. Orden, momentito. Ok, a ver. Bueno, ¿qué podemos hacer? What can we talk about with these little kids?
Los
they
niños se ponieron sus disfraces
Ah, okay.
para
Oh, they put on
visitar
their,
sus vecinos.
they put on their, and poner is a very, very odd verb.
Uh-oh.
Los niños se pusieron. Here is one of our very oddball, very irregular.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Se pusieron los disfraces y, perdón, se.
Oh, boy, I messed this up lots of ways.
And what? And they went to the neighbor's house?
Yeah, para visitar sus vecinos.
Oh, para visitar, sí. Para visitar a sus vecinos.
Oh, okay.
Exacto, para visitar a sus vecinos. Exacto. Los niños se pusieron los disfraces para visitar a sus vecinos. Sí. Okay. I can even make it a sequence. Put on their outfits and went to the houses. Ah.
Oh,
Se pusieron los disfraces y se fueron y fueron a las casas del barrio.
Went to the house.
And they went to the houses in the neighborhood. Or I could change it from fueron to caminaron. Bien, sí, walked. Sí.
Sí.
Or I could change it to les pidieron dulces. Asked for candy. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Les pidieron dulces. Asked for candy. Because that's what you do when you're trick or treat. Exacto. ¿Sí? Bien.
Sí.
Okay. Now, what if I just described this? Straight description.
Los niños dijeron trunco o trato.
Los niños.
Los niños dijeron, they said trick or treat.
Oh, dijeron. Sí, sí,
Dijeron.
sí. Sí. Dijeron. They said. Sí.
They said.
Dijeron. Sí. Bien. Okay. We could even say, oh, they looked really cute.
Ooh.
They
oh.
looked cute. Now, that isn't really an action, is it?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So, let's look at that. The way you say looked is verse. Verse. Yeah. I know. It looks like it means look at yourself, which it could mean that, but it doesn't mean that here. This is a common way to say somebody looked a certain way. Los niños se veían muy preciosos. Se veían muy preciosos. They looked really cute. That's just a description. Yeah. It doesn't say they did anything. It gives me a snapshot of what they looked like. See? Bien? So just an idea of it could be imperfecto if I'm just describing them, right? Or if I talk about what they did every Halloween. Okay, bien. I don't know how many of these we will get to, but let's try to get to as many as we can. Si hablamos de esta foto, what if we talk about this photo?
Is that where you would say hubo un accidente?
Hubo un accidente, exacto. Muy bien. Hubo un accidente. Because it can't be había in this case. It's something that, boom, that's very dramatic. Sí, es muy dramático. Hubo un accidente. Hubo un accidente. Hubo un pequeño accidente. Hubo un pequeño accidente. ¿Sí? Okay. What else might we say about that?
Después el accidente, el hombre llamó por teléfono a su agente de seguros.
Exacto. El hombre llamó por teléfono a su agente de seguros. The man called his insurance agent on the phone. Sí, pero llamó. We would never really use llamada. You might say llamada this way. El hombre, mientras el hombre llamaba a su agente de seguros, la mujer llamaba a la policía. While he was calling his agent, she was calling the police. ¿Sí? Ok. Por ejemplo, for example, ¿no? Bien. Bueno, los dos no estaban muy, a ver, wow, I got my heel of my hand on my pad here, my touchpad. Los dos no estaban muy enojados.
No.
The two of them weren't very angry, right? Los dos no estaban muy enojados, ¿sí?
Help me fix this sentence up. La mujer le dio su nombre a el hombre. Is that right?
Le dio su nombre al hombre.
Oh, al hombre.
O le dio al hombre su nombre. Sí, no importa. Yeah, your word order is okay. La mujer
Okay.
le dio su nombre al hombre. Sí, yeah, she gave her name to the guy. Normal, sí, una acción muy normal. Ok. Me gusta mucho. Ok. Por ejemplo, let's get a handle on this poor man. Pobre hombre. El pobre, poor guy. Tiene mucho trabajo, ¿no? Okay. What might we say about this guy? We might describe him. We might say what he did. We might say what his kids did. We might be talking about a lot of different things. Hay posibilidades.
El niño ayudó su padre a utilizar el computador.
El niño. El niño ayudó a su papá a utilizar la computadora, ¿no? And you might use computadora. I even heard some people do use computador, use computadora. Some people ordenador if you're in Spain. Okay. He helped his dad use. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of tongue in cheek here. How much is he helping? See? ¿Cómo se dice? He sat on dad's shoulders. He sat on dad's shoulders.
El niño estaba sentada en las espaldas de su padre.
En las espaldas. Espaldas and los hombros, because that's more shoulders, but you know, yeah, on his back and his shoulder, no importa mucho, ¿sí? Estaba sentado, he was seated, en las espaldas, en los hombros, en la espalda, really, it's going to be one shoulder, because he's only got one back, but he's got two shoulders. En la espalda, en los hombros de su padre. Okay, so I could say he was seated. That's a description, but I might say se sentó. He sat down en los hombros de su papá. Bien, I might. See, he sat down up there. See, okay. Bien, okay. Bueno, otra idea.
El padre estaba tratando de trabajar mientras sus hijos estaban en casa desde la escuela.
Okay. El padre estaba tratando
De trabajar
de trabajar mientras
sus hijos estaban en casa desde la escuela.
Estaban en casa después de la escuela.
Okay.
Después de la escuela. Desde we wouldn't use from when they were home from school. If you want to say they were home from school, you might say mientras sí, estaban en casa después, or we might change it to this, because I think this cuando sus hijos regresaron a casa después de la escuela.
Okay.
The dad was trying to work when his kids came home after school. So there are a couple ways you could say that, see? And we could make that a preterit. They came home, right?
Or I could have said they were sick. They were home from school, they were sick or something.
They were, okay. And then, yes, they were just home. Then see, estaban en casa.
Okay.
En casa. See? Okay. Okay. Bien. Vale. We could change this. Estaba tratando to this, just tratar. Trataba de trabajar. Trataba de trabajar. He was trying to work while his kids were at home. Trataba de trabajar cuando sus hijos estaban en casa. Bien. Sí, exacto. Okay. We might not have too much time for this last one, but there might be a couple things we can finish up with this. Let's try for maybe just a couple of ideas about that. Ooh, una entrevista, an interview. And a working interview. God, no importa mucho. Okay. But we've got a work setting kind of thing here. Es un poquito distinto. Okay. ¿Qué debemos? ¿Qué podemos decir? What can we say about what happened in one of these?
El hombre tenía nervio porque él estaba entrevistando un empleo que quiere mucho.
El hombre, sí, estaba nervioso Or you might say, al hombre le daba nervios.
Okay.
Le daba nervios. That's kind of a very special phrase, but estaba nervioso porque tenía una entrevista, ¿sí? Para un empleo que quiere mucho, that he really wants. He had an interview for a job that he really wants. Sí, bien. Hay muchas ideas. Wow, lots of ideas in there. Okay. Bien. I'm just going to simplify that a little bit to make that easier. Estaba nervioso is a little easier way to express that now for what you've got. Okay. Hay otra idea. Anything else?
El hombre y la mujer hablaron sobre el trabajo.
Bien. Sí. Simple pasado. El hombre y la mujer hablaron del trabajo, de su proyecto, etcétera. Sí, sí, del trabajo, de un reporte, about a report, sí, del informe, del formulario, about the forms, lo que sea, whatever it may be. Pero hablaron, they just talked. Sí, eso es. Okay, muy bien. Would you like me to send you some more pictures to think up some ideas? Sí, para la semana que viene. And go back and look, you've got 3 shorter Superman segments. I'll give you the link for that. And I'll give you a little quick story in the past, but it'll mix all the past ideas up. Bien. Y, uy, sí, eso es. That's it for today. Es todo para hoy. Bien.
Sí, sí.
Bien,
Gracias.
fantástico, fantástico. De nada, de nada. Es un placer.
Muchas
Es
gracias.